Notts County talk, a slightly delayed start to Pavis perspective. If you saw the panic on mine and George's face in the past 5 minutes, the closest we've ever been to postponing a show. George couldn't hear me. I could hear George. Disaster.
I blame StreamYard.
I blame not season.
You could, you could probably.
I fully blame not season.
Yeah.
Very, very close to postponing tonight's show, which you've never ever had to do just before. Appalling from us. I do apologise massively. I'm shaken up, if I'm honest.
Yeah,
I'm shaken up.
It's thrown us.
It's properly thrown me. This is the Pavis perspective. It's another Thursday episode, 121. We are powered, as you would have seen, by Better Bytes computers. I don't know what else to say, really. I mean, Better Bytes have helped us out here, but our streaming platform haven't. So use a code Pavis perspective for any discount on new computers, refurbished computers, or computer repairs. So, George,
Tom,
I don't know if you listened to the Salford podcast I did after the game.
Of course I did.
Sunday.
Of course I did.
Pretty much what I'm going to regurgitate today.
Okay.
Pretty much. That's literally where I'm going with this episode.
Okay.
So, if people have listened to that, I'm going to add a little bit more to it. But yeah, I'm not a happy bunny. George, we sat here last week trying to work out if we could get playoffs.
Let's do it again. Let's run it back.
Do you want to have a rant, or are you past ranting now this season?
No, I'll have a bit of a rant. Yeah, I mean, look, I think we're just weak, aren't we? We're nice to play against. As well as being bad at defending, which we obviously clearly are, we've missed some sitters the last few months. Some proper sitters. I like our strikers that they're doing well, but they've missed some real sitters, haven't they? So they have to take some of the blame as well, in my opinion. And look, I don't want to be one of those like aggressive, like Maynard out, because I don't think I'll ever be that unless there was like a disgraceful thing happening. To be honest, I'm obviously in the camp of, is it working? Is it not? Can they put trust in Maynard to going forward, give him a summer, and then go next season? I'm not sure. But then, I listened to the post-match after Salford, and he's talking about, we're the only team to have got 350 passes against Salford. Literally like that. I get he's probably trying to, just say something to sound positive, but that's not what we want to hear. We lost the game, and it's our fifth home loss on the trot. Who wants to hear that we've completed the most passes against this team? That's fantastic, but we didn't win. It really, literally, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if you have 97% possession and you complete 7,000 passes if you lose 2-1, does it? It don't matter. Yeah, it's a massively against the run of play, but it don't matter. It means that you can't win games. In the moments where it matters, you're not making it count. It doesn't matter. And to be honest, when you look at it like that, yeah, I think what he's trying to probably say is it's not like a tactical, so much a tactical issue. I think what he's trying to say is it's more like a playing issue. The players are letting him down a little bit. So I think that is what he's probably trying to say, because we do tend to have a lot of the possession and stuff like that, but we're just not doing a lot with it. So that really didn't bode well with me. Him saying that, I thought it was a little bit daffing to say, really. After losing, we should have beat them. We should have beat them. They're below us. We had a fantastic win against Bradford on the Tuesday to sort of build on, and we just didn't. And it's sort of like, honestly, we cannot emphasize how lucky we are at the start that we had this season.
Have you seen the table since New Year's Day?
Yeah. We're rock bottom.
Disgrace.
On 9 points. It's disgraceful. It is. And, I just think were we naive?
No.
Have we got the money to sort of bolster the squad as much as we think? Is the onus too much on? I don't know, strikers, because we seem to be able to employ really good attacking players, but when it comes to the defense, it's like we're not that good, or goalkeepers, to be honest. But yeah, I don't think it's Maynard's fault. I think it's a collective. I think there's definitely things Maynard can do to help, like not talk about passes when you just lost to going into the game at a team that were below you.
That's my biggest concern with Maynard right now. And don't get me wrong, I'm not talking about results here. Results are obviously my biggest concern. One of my major concerns is his post-match press conferences. They fill me with nothing. I don't have any, like, they don't fill me with any hope.
Mm.
I don't know if I mentioned this on here, right? The Gillingham game where we lost at home, was it 3-1 right at the start, just after the Barrow game? He said first thing was he thought we played well. The second sentence was they didn't have to do much to beat us. That doesn't make sense. It doesn't make any sense. Then he's talked about other things in press conferences, which have been like, and then the thing that stuck out to me is he said, I thought Chicks was excellent at the weekend. Well, no, he wasn't. And you bought him off at half time, so he couldn't have been excellent. He couldn't have been excellent. It doesn't make any sense. I'd rather him just be brutally honest about what's going on. Just say, look, I bought him off. It wasn't working. That's my fault. It did improve second half. Just tell us, because we're not stupid. We've just seen the best football we've seen in the past, technically in our history, if you're looking at unbeaten run. We know when something's not going well. We know when something's not going right. So I don't know. I agree. It's not his fault for some of the things, but there's also a line where, like, it's just not going to turn around, is it? And I don't know if we're past that line. It feels like we're past that line, personally, for me. But you don't get rid of him, because the alternative is Jim O'Brien in charge again. And who does that do anyone any good? Because actually he's one of our better players. So I don't want him on the sideline. He's been one of our better players for the past month. So I don't want him managing. I don't want that. It doesn't do anyone any good, personally.
You're right.
So I don't know. I'm kind of. Is this strange? At the minute, I'm kind of past caring. Is that? Do you think that's? Are you that way? Not about the situation at the minute, because I feel like it's so set in stone that he's not going until summer. So why do I need to care about it? We can't go up. We can't go down. We know big players are going to be off. We know that. We know we need a rebuild. There's nothing surprising that we need to know in the last 8 games or 7 games. There's nothing.
Let's just say that the owners stick with him now. Would you be going into next, if we make some really good signings, would you go into next season just with no confidence?
What, results stay exactly as they are? So maybe pick up one more win in the last 7?
Yeah.
No. I have no confidence.
You'd have
one win in the last 7 would be like 3 wins in 20.
Yeah. It's one of those, isn't it, now? I think it's probably gone past that point of having belief in him. I think it's one of those where he's got to give us something to sort of believe in. So let's say he does stay, he's going to have to go on a fantastic run sort of now or the start of next season to sort of win us back over, because a lot of Notts fans have lost the faith, I think.
Yeah, Colin here says Mark White tells it straight. Do you want that? Mark White is an exception. Mark White literally doesn't care what he says, and he'll get himself suspended for game after game after game. I'm not talking about telling it straight like that. Just don't tell me the fullback that's been excellent, that hasn't been excellent, he bought off at half time is. Don't tell me that.
You know what though? Like I don't really disagree with that way of managing. I prefer my personal life. I would prefer my manager to be like Mark White.
Well, I thought he was going to say you didn't mind your manager telling you were good when you weren't.
No.
You'd want your manager to be like Mark White.
Yeah. Like I think everything is built on honesty. Like, but why would you? There's an element of dishonesty there, I think, isn't there? I think the truth.
Mark White telling it straight. No, yeah, there is.
Yeah. So I think you abide by the truth. You can't go too far wrong in life, I think. But that's just for another podcast. We've gone way off here.
Like if if we were on like a decent run and we lost maybe 1 in 6, and that game we lost, and he was sort of saying, look, these players are excellent. I'd agree, but we'd lost our 5th straight home game.
Yeah.
So you can't be saying things that aren't true. I mean, maybe I can't say what he saw. Maybe he saw it that way. Maybe it's the exact game plan he wanted Chickson to play. I don't care. And I'm not calling Chickson out here because I love Adam Chickson. He's been a fantastic player for Notts. Really has given it. So professional. I'm just giving one example. But
I think going back to the sort of personality side of things, I think when you look across the pyramid, it's massively sanitized now in terms of what you should say.
It is, and it's ridiculous.
It is like no managers really have that like character. There's probably a handful in the Football League.
Name me the managers that just tell it in the Football League completely straight. Or in the Prem. Klopp.
Yeah, well, I think Klopp's just I'm not a big fan of Klopp. I think he's.
I don't like Klopp.
He just moans a lot, doesn't he?
I wouldn't want like a Klopp character that's literally he's like awful to the reporters. I wouldn't want that. Who else?
Yeah, I think you see all the bad bits, don't you? I suppose, but I think
Steve Evans.
Yeah, so someone like Ian Evatt. I'm not saying I want him as manager, but someone that would just be true to himself and just keep it as it is and not be told what to say and stuff like that.
All I want is Steve Evans in front of the Kop doing this. That's all I want.
What's the next
one? Like that.
I wish I could translate what that meant when he's going up to the camera.
I like the bit where he goes like this. And if you listen on Spotify, he'll have to try and find the video of him. But he walks away, he goes like this. And then comes back in. Love that.
Yeah. Looks like a penguin when he does it, doesn't he?
Yeah, I'll pay for that.
Yeah, it's class.
I'll pay for that. But no, you got to be careful. Look, someone said Warnock tells it straight. Paul Warnock, Derby. I was asked to go on the Salford podcast for 15 minutes. I ended up being just under 50, and we had to cut it short because Matt didn't have any more time I was available to give, and I still could have talked for ages. It's retweeted on our Twitter page if you want to listen back to that.
Did you watch the presser today from?
No.
I listened to it, and there was some pretty pressing questions. To be fair, they were sort of asking him, have they had any correspondence from the sort of higher up at Notts to sort of talk about results and stuff like that. And he sort of went around it, and then he sort of said, "Well, no, I haven't." So
that concerns me.
But is it true? Do you know what I mean?
If it is true, how has there not been? About to lose, potentially lose 6 in a row on Monday at home. So that's my issue with him. That's my issue with Maynard, because he has a part to play in this. That's his part for me. The part he can control. He's not inspiring me. So how's he inspiring the players? After, let's be honest, I don't want to keep talking about him, and we haven't actually talked about him too much in retweets, but Luke Williams inspired the players. Luke Williams inspired the fans. And we've seen him doing it at Swansea, getting the catering staff to come in and talk about what they love about Swansea and being out with the fans in town after they won the derby. Like, I'm not saying that I want that. But that's my concern there. Sarah says, stop being negative.
sort of impossible.
We were very, very positive last week.
It's impossible to not be negative after the run we're on.
Yeah, I thought last week we're actually very positive. We spoke well about the unbeaten couple of games, very well about Bradford.
We've got to be honest as well. You know, we can't bury our heads in the sand with the run of form that we're on and what we're seeing. You know, on a regular basis.
Yeah, but I don't necessarily think like negativity doesn't. It's not necessarily it's not a great thing to have, is it? But sometimes we just need to say it, like you said, how it is at the minute, because it's not very good. It's worse than not very good. I know we're pretty positive, aren't we? On whole, all in all.
Yeah, I think, I definitely. We do have a more positive outlook on things for sure, but at the same time, we're going to call a carrot a carrot. Do you know what I mean? We're not going to. We can't come in here and say it's good, is it?
What? This is episode 121. How many fully negative episodes do you reckon we've had? I reckon maybe 5.
Probably 120, something like that, 119.
Okay, well, that's just been silly, isn't it?
I'll probably say over like 3.
Yeah. The next issue really has got to be looked at higher up. It has to be looked at higher up. Recruitment, the way we're being run currently, not on a whole. Look, we've got lots of good things going on off the pitch. On the pitch, it's an absolute mess. My other issue is if I stick you in defence, for example, in League 2, you're not going to do very well, are you? Let's be honest.
I don't know.
Let's be honest.
I think I'd do a job.
You're not. You'd be absolutely bullied by that Smith up front for Sutton. I reckon you'd be crying. But let's be serious, right? You're not going to be very good at centre back in League 2, are you? I'm not going to be very good at centre back in League 2 or anywhere on the pitch, for example. But if we were contracted to the club and we were the only option to play there, really, I know there's a couple of other options. My second kind of issue is, A, we're not good enough, and B, we're being asked to play. So then it falls on recruitment, because if the players we've got in certain positions aren't good enough, the options are they either say to the manager, I don't want to play, or they do their job and play. So you can criticise players and say they're not being good enough, but I don't think you can't personally attack a player or abuse a player for not being good enough. Like, if they're not good enough, that's not on them. They didn't transfer themselves to Notts County and tell everyone they're going to play in League 2. Do you understand what I'm saying? Or
yeah, I completely understand what you're saying. I do agree with you, and I think this is probably one of those things where they've got to navigate it. So, I think we've put a lot of attention into having, like a defense that would be very sort of, I want to say majestic, but it's probably the wrong word.
It is the wrong word. Majestic.
No, but not just like a proper, like, difficult defense to break down. Do you know what I mean? It's not like they've got like we've got a big defense. We've not got a strong defense. We've got a defense that if you put them at a fullback and you needed to put them a few crosses in, they'd do a job. Do you know what I mean? Like, going up the pitch, they're good. But when it comes to defending, they're not so good. So I think that's the emphasis that's been put on with recruitment. But then you look at sort of further up the pitch, midfield, an attack. We've signed some phenomenal players, absolutely phenomenal. And look, I think it as well. When you look at the keepers, we've not done well, but we had Slocum last season. We brought in a few loan keepers that were good. Stone was given the chance; he's not really taking it, and he's not kicked on, so he's had it difficult. So I don't think you can put too much pressure on the recruitment in terms of goalkeeping. It just seems to be defending. And I think we're probably trying to recruit the wrong style of defenders.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree with what you're saying. Ian says same defence that was top of the league in October. Yeah, get that. But
Yeah, but
I don't think
it
wasn't sustainable.
Yeah, but it goes back as well. We were conceding a lot of goals then, but it goes back to what I was saying. I think we had a very, very easy start to the season.
On paper, we did.
We did. I
And
remember we really did. And it's one of those, isn't it?
In that start to the season, with a defence top of the league, we shipped 5 to Sutton, who were bottom of the league, and 5 to Colchester, who were in the bottom 2. So it still didn't. Yeah, it just didn't. It wasn't sustainable, in my opinion. It wasn't sustainable. We hadn't played any of the top teams before October. Who was our start to the season within those first 2 months? Sutton, Doncaster, who are on a stinker of a run. MK Dons, who hadn't picked up any form. It was about 35 degrees that day. Morecambe, who at that point weren't anything special. Colchester, who poor. I think who else? We didn't play any big teams until October.
I'm looking now.
We didn't play Mansfield or Wrexham until at least October, maybe even November.
So our first game Sutton, then it was Grimsby, then Morecambe, Doncaster, Tranmere, Accrington, MK Dons, Salford, Forest Green, Colchester, Swindon, Barrow, and then we come into Mansfield. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 very favourable games, and that was the start to our season.
And the only one for me that was massively tricky there was MK Dons away, even though they weren't in that great form, and Swindon when they came to Medley were in good form.
Yeah.
Salford away, they weren't doing very well. Gary says we're playing poor teams now, but not picking up points. So what's your point? I don't understand the question.
No. So I'm not saying that. I've said this as well before. I'm not saying that it's purely a thing of we played poor teams and we picked up all those points and we beat every poor team. I think we still had the sort of some momentum from last season coming into the start of this season, and there was a lot of positivity around.
I get what you're saying.
So yeah, I think obviously now that's sort of died out and we've lost that momentum. So I think that's my point. That's what I think.
Yeah. Yeah. It's a tricky one. I don't really know what we prioritise now. I think Maynard was asked about putting youth players in. He's pretty much said as long as the players are there to play for, we can't do that. Would you like to see that done? I wouldn't. We're not picking up wins really with our first 11. We've got 2 wins in like 13 games with them. It's not really our first 11. We're missing players. I think what would be, and could you imagine if we did, like, the playoffs is not mathematically impossible, but it's very, very close to being absolutely no chance. So what's your ideal end to the season from this point? Because for me, it's stabilize a little bit, get some confidence back in, get Kedwin Scott back up to speed, see what he's got for the last few months. And that's all I can really think of. Get Jata even more used to League 2 football. We're not seeing Badger, we're not seeing Palmer. I'd like to. I don't know what else I really would like to see.
I know people are saying about 1 or 2 comments about Wrexham as well, but like, come on. Yeah. Investment wise, I think they're 2 or 3 times what we're able to invest, if not more.
Yeah, I don't think we quite realised in the National League, because the title race was so close. Just how much they have behind them. Personally, 9 million in debt though, aren't they? We're owing loans of 9 million.
Yeah, how much are we owing?
Us, don't know, but
more. Right?
Yeah, but one of them, innit? We've got to talk about it because people are talking about it in the chat. What do you make of the Twitter spats over the last few days
with
Kyle Cameron? Unbelievable.
Yeah, I mean, like I've just said, we come on here and we're honest. Yeah, if a player plays bad, we will say it. And to be honest, I think the players sort of they have to accept that fans will say that they've played badly or voice their opinion. They're entitled to. But I think I don't know. I've not seen anything to suggest that it's got personal. But if it has got personal and things have been started to aim towards family members and stuff like that, I then also think that family member is entitled to have their say. Do you know what I mean? But then it can get messy and it gets out of hand, which I think it has. I think it's just been blown out of proportion. I think people have probably just been a little bit too quick to criticize Cameron personally. I mean, like I say, I've not seen it firsthand. This is what people are putting online. But I think it happens. It does happen. It happens at every level.
I think you're right to I think we're entitled to criticize players' performances.
Of course we are.
Because
everyone is.
Yeah,
we pay our money.
Once it gets abusive, then it's invalid anyway.
Exactly.
It's not an opinion. It's not a valid opinion.
Personal, isn't it?
Yeah, none of that. I hate to see that. I hate to see. What's your take on this then? Players had a bad performance, and you criticize that player for their performance. No abuse, but you tag the player in the tweet. I don't like that.
Yeah, I don't agree. Tagging's just silly.
Yeah, so you can criticize performances all you want, and yeah, I don't like to see it get personal because there's no need for any of that kind of stuff. But I agree with you what you're saying. I mean, I haven't seen any personal tweets directed.
But again, everyone's saying in here as well about players, being thin-skinned and having thick skin and stuff like that. Absolutely. You're being a footballer, you're putting yourself in the limelight. You're putting yourself out there to be criticised. Do you know what I mean? Like in any walk of life, let's say you're a teacher and there's 5 people coming in, from Ofsted to view through your lesson. That's pressure, isn't it? But you've got to be able to work to that because it's part of your job. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, James, channel members, I had a chat with Chicks about the Twitter stuff. He says some of the DMs the lads have received have been very bad, and that's what triggered the intervention. Yeah, not about direct messaging players. Absolutely not.
Yeah, well, that's the point, isn't it? We've probably not seen it.
Yeah, and that's a very good point. Actually, we probably haven't seen any of the messages that have allegedly been sent. Yeah, I wouldn't criticize a player either by DMing them. So I think you can say.
I think a player knows if they've played bad.
And I'm also not talking about criticizing a player by writing 5 paragraphs about how poor they've been and picking apart every little thing. There is still a level to the criticism.
Yeah, because at the end of the day, it's not like we're here saying, criticism's constructive in the right form. If you're doing a bad job and someone tells you you're doing a good job, you're never going to get better.
I also have no issue.
Doing a bad job and you get told that you're doing a bad job and this is how you can improve it, you'll improve.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying the fans are, even us. I'm not saying we have any sort of input as to, a player's not going to watch our opinion and go, oh, yeah, I need to change that about my thing. But at the same time, you need to be open to be criticised, 100%.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. I
think that's true as well from Milkman Hero. Why would anyone in the public eye even have DMs on? It's a good point.
Yeah, it is true. Also, I have no problem with players blocking fans. I have no issue with that.
I'll be honest. I don't really care.
No. Because I can't remember what it was. You got all these documentaries. You got like a Man City one, haven't you? A Sunderland one, a Newcastle one. Some more as well, isn't there? There's obviously the Wrexham one. There's another one. And it was a manager talking about how some players just need, like some players need telling straight and some players need an arm around them and like guiding through. because it's all right. Like, not every footballer is the same, though. Like, I imagine from our squad, I don't know. I can't speak for our squad, but there's a couple of players in there that I think would definitely benefit from an arm around them rather than being told, like, by a Mark White kind of character at Dorking. Personally, if I was a player, I don't think I wouldn't need to be like mollycoddled through the season, but I don't necessarily think I'd respond that well to being spoken to the way Mark White speaks to some of his players.
Yeah, exactly.
Dave's
nailed it. It's called man management. Exactly.
So if some players need a bit of an arm around them, and I'm not saying this is Cameron, I'm not saying this is any. I'm not going to say any of our players specifically, but if some players need a bit of that man management in the dressing room, then of course they're not going to respond very well to negativity online and things like that. But who knows? Who knows? Personally, if I was a player, I'd just do what Adam Chickson does, and I'd just post pictures of my breakfast and inspirational quotes, and then just not reply to anyone else.
Yeah, I think
man of the people.
There's a handful of players that I think have it nailed down quite well. Like, they'll have like a public page, won't they, where they'll post like football stuff, and then they'll have like a private page on like Instagram or something like that.
Yeah,
I think that's the way to go about things. But again, if you want to enjoy social media, there's no right or wrong way. There's no right or wrong way. I've just corrected myself there. Do what you want, as long as it suits you.
Which of our players don't have any social media that you're aware of? Slocum.
Yeah, Slocum definitely. Slokes.
Jim? No, Jim has Instagram,
Jim does, yeah. Jim's quite active on Instagram as well.
There's just a few players that don't have it. I think if I was a player, I'm not sure I'd have it. Not sure. Maybe I will be a player one day. You never know. I've got a few years left of me. You seen that Tamworth centre back?
No. Oh. Maybe.
I could be a player, I reckon. I could be a player. Gary says players should do their talking on the pitch. Yeah, agreed. Yeah, I've had a few questions about that. We've kind of answered it, and we've kind of said we agree with both sides of the argument, which I think is kind of the best way to see things from both sides. We will have a recruitment episode coming up at the end of the season, but I mean, there's still players. Is there any players for you where you'd like to see more of them before the end of the season?
Yeah, definitely Jata, definitely Scott.
Toby? I'd like to see a bit more Toby. There's nothing to lose now.
Yeah, maybe a bit more Toby. Yeah. Maybe one or two youth players,
Who? Sanderson?
Yeah, just whoever's sort of ready.
Luther?
Maybe.
Very loud noise going on outside my house.
What is that?
Can you hear it?
It sounds like...
I think it's a couple of foxes fighting. Horrendous noises.
Do you want to go break it up? I'll keep everyone entertained.
No, I can't break fox. Foxes are vicious, Can you hear that?
Jesus, Tom.
Goodness me. It is. It's foxes outside my house. What if I went to break it up, brought one back in by the scruff of the neck?
I'll probably say, Tom, don't do that. Pull that down, please.
I'll just do it with it in my arms for the rest of the video. I'll just sit there cradling it. That is unbelievable. Maybe that's a sign. Let's go on and talk about the Swindon game. That's thrown me off. Nearly postponing's thrown me off. It's been an episode where I've had lots of twists and turns. Foxes fighting was not on my bingo card. Swindon, then, they are adamant we're going to beat them. Adamant. They've won 1 in 10.
Challenge accepted.
Challenge accepted. And then Milton Keynes Dons, MK Dons, coming to us on Easter Monday. That is not going to be easy at all. They are, to use the term correctly, because we've used it incorrectly for the last few weeks, they are flying. And I'm not talking Grimsby level of flying. I'm not talking Notts County talk at the quiz night flying. Joint bottom, might I add.
Absolute howler you had.
But I will say something about that quiz night, George. At the halfway stage, we were well behind second to bottom.
Mm-hmm.
We made a bit of a comeback, didn't we?
We did.
We made a bit of a comeback.
It was almost Bournemouth versus Notts-esque.
It was. I had some cracking answers in that second part, especially on the picture round. I did really strong from me.
G.I. Joe.
It did look like G.I. Joe. It did not look like Action Man. But there we go. So, Swindon, confident?
No.
MK,
Yeah.
confident?
No.
I'm can't have 6 points, I think. Would you be happy, going back to this, would you be happy to finish the season? What, we've got 7 games left?
Mm-hmm.
Who are they? Swindon, MK, I know this isn't in order. Forest Green, Colchester, Stockport, Walsall, Harrogate. What would you sort of be appeased with by the end of the season to get off this run of form? Would you be happy to finish that with 3 wins from 7 and maybe a couple of draws and a couple of losses?
Yeah.
Would you finish the season with confidence then?
Probably not. I don't know. Football's such a funny sport, isn't it? Like, literally, like you just said, we beat Bradford 3-0 and we're talking about playoffs last Thursday. This Thursday, the tone's completely different.
Yeah. Do you think football is very fickle, but also I kind of don't know if it is because, like, it's just the sport. That's just what it is. If we went out against Swindon and won 6-0, you can't be negative. It's impossible to be negative. You could say we should have got 7 or 8.
Yeah.
We were so down 2 weeks ago, and then last week we were just up because we got 4 points and a 3-0 win away 2 days before the show.
Yeah.
So I don't know. It's an interesting one. What lineup do you go with? I've got you getting Luther one side of the back three and Sanderson the other side. Marias in the middle.
Yeah, no, I'd definitely put a few changes in there. So I'd probably go Slocum, back three of Rawlinson, Baldwin.
Wow, Rawlinson, Baldwin. Yeah.
Oh, I don't know.
You're dropping the captain?
I don't know.
Would he be dropped if he wasn't the captain?
Potentially.
I'd say certainly.
Yeah, it's a shame as well because on his day, Cameron's fantastic. He's always got that threat of stepping forward and putting a really good cross in the box as well, providing some good assists. But he's just not been. He's not been his usual self at the minute. I don't know what it's down to. Is he happy? I'm not sure.
I don't know. He's obviously not happy.
Macquarie as well. I forgot about Macquarie.
I go Ashby Hammond in goal. I go Macquarie, Rollo,
Mahova,
Cameron, and let him prove that let him prove himself a bit more. Wing backs,
Toby.
Nah.
He's give him a chance.
Yeah, but he's not going to play, is he? Yeah, Toby and Aaron.
No.
One of the biggest disappointments for me this season is how much we've asked Jody to defend.
Yeah, exactly.
What is the point in that? Because the only game we didn't.
You're wasting talent.
What was the last game we didn't see him? That was the last and pretty much only game we didn't see him with any defensive responsibility. Newport away. Look what happened then. He's got a highlight reel after 20 minutes in the game. A nutmeg and everything going viral on Twitter. Assists, I don't know. So I go stuff. I'm going 4 at the back. I'm going Macquarie, Cameron as the left and right back, and then I'm going Rollo and Warner at centre back because I think Baldwin's injured. Still, I'm going 4 at the back, and then my midfield 2. Scott Robertson, who's been superb,
and Jimbo.
And then I have 2 more slightly attacking players in Dan Crowley and Jody Jones, and then Jatta and Maka up top. 4-2-2-2.
That's 4-4-2.
4-2-2-2.
That's 4-4-2.
4-2-2-2.
4-4-2.
They had the same thing.
You're being
4 is a flat 4. 4-4-2 is a flat midfield 4. It's not a flat midfield 4 because I don't want Jody to have any defensive responsibilities. I want Jody to stand on the penalty spot. Sorry, Bolden come back from suspension. Yeah, maybe put him in. I want Jody to stand on the penalty spot personally, and then we run it up, pass it back to him so he can't be offside. That would be my tactic if I was a manager. I want to see Mac get a bit more confidence back as well.
Yeah, definitely.
I feel like he's really lost confidence, and I don't know why. I mean, the 1-on-1 against Bradford, which was, I know he scored, but he missed the 1-on-1. And then
which is mad to say, actually, isn't it? When you look at it, he's still top goal scorer, isn't he, in the league?
Yeah.
How mad is that? He could have had 30 plus goals easily this season, couldn't he?
And his work rate's unbelievable. And he's still putting in good performances. I just wanted to have a bit more confidence in front of goal, but every striker goes through that, don't you? And I'm complaining when he's got 25 goals coming up from the National League. So, yeah. Ian says Joe needs a solid fullback behind him in a back 4. I wish we'd have stayed back 4. We played back 4. I think we played back 4 against Newport, didn't we? It's just like, come on. It's just got to be better than this. So, yeah, there we go. Right then. George, let's go for the poll question.
Right. The poll question this week. It's a good one because, Easter. Let me just pull it up. So the poll question, choose your favorite, well, I'm assuming it's favorite chocolate. Dark chocolate, milk chocolate, white chocolate, or I don't like chocolate. I don't like chocolate gets 2%. That's not a shock to me. White chocolate, 13%. Milk chocolate, 50%. Dark chocolate, 35%.
I'm going to go straight in. I'll vote dark.
Right.
What'd you go for?
I went for milk.
Yeah, white chocolates. No, not about that.
No.
Not a fan. That's all I want to say on that matter. We spoke so much last week about different foods. It's just a very straightforward one for me. Bit of dark chocolate, mix it into my porridge. Oof, stunning. Absolutely stunning. And let's just go for the score prediction then, George, because, there's lots to talk about next week. There's rumours next week. Can I say what the rumours are next week? You might be potentially joining you next week.
A very special guest.
Very
unprecedented,
special.
Actually. How special.
Should we just leave it at that?
Yeah.
We'll leave it at that.
The specialist of guests. And then there's an even specialer guest the week following. Because that special guest can't join.
It just feels special.
It's so special.
Yeah, it feels special. Right then, score predictions. I am going straight away. Notts 2. I know it's away. Swindon 1. And MK Dons 1, Notts 1.
I'm going Swindon 1. No, I'm not. I'm going Swindon 2, Notts 2. Potential loss there, though.
I actually think that could be a very sensible result. 2-2.
And then I'm going to go MK 2, Notts 1.
Fair enough. Right, we've got a 2-2. Hello, who's that? It's another 2-2. Oh, look at that. We've got a 3-1. We've got a 3-1. Look at that. We've got a 3-1. We've got a 3-1. We've got a 3-1 there.
What's going on here?
All over the place. Let's see. Anyone else? We've got a 3-0 MK. We've got a 1-1. We've got a 2-0 both games to Notts. There's quite a few here. We've got a Swindon 3, Notts 0, and 5-0. I feel so positive there. We've got a 3-1 Notts, 4-0 MK. We've got a 3-1. Hoping that's got to be an MK fan.
I hope it's an MK fan.
A 1-1 first game, 3-1 second game. We've got a 4-2 Notts MK, 4-0 MK. Let's leave it there. Let's finish with a bit more positivity from Pete. We've got a 1-1 and a 2-1 MK. I mean, at least we get a point there. Right, I'm going to stop putting those up because I'm feeling a bit upset. Right. Safe travels if you're going to Swindon. Obviously, we owe them for what happened last time we went there. Something that, we want to put right. I just want to see a solid performance, like you say, George. Really solid performance. Make us hard to beat. And then on Monday, come back to Medellin with a bit of positivity. Hopefully, it would be a bit of a shock if we got that win against MK, but you never know. So 2 games. Sorry, it's been a little bit negative, but as I say, there's not massive amounts positive to really look at the minute. Hopefully we have that next week when George will be joined by a very special guest. Thank you, everyone, once again for putting all of your comments into the comment section. It's been great reading some, and apologies we haven't been able to get to all of them. But as always, please like the video. Thank you massively to our channel members, especially the platinum ones down at the bottom of the screen, and subscribe to the channel.